All right, guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about some sight options. With all the sites that are out there on the market now, it gets very confusing which one to buy and what options to look at. And some of these higher end premium sites, man, there's some great options out there, but a lot of them are getting over that $500 price range. And I get it, that doesn't fit a lot of guys' budgets. And there's some great options out there with some really cool features, but today I want to talk to you about the HHA sights. This is the new NYTRX series. This has actually become one of our best selling sights here in the shop. 100% USA made, backed by a great lifetime warranty on it. And today I'll just cover a couple of features and some of the things we like about this sight. So right here I have the NYTRX. This is in the 3-pin option. I've been a big 3-pin fan for years. A lot of times out west, what I'll do is I'll run my top pin at 30, bottom pin or middle pin at 40, and then bottom pin at 50. So as I'm out in the field hunting, I have 30, 40, 50 set for those little bit faster, quicker shots, especially if I have elk moving in and out. But with these sights, it gives me the ability to still slide out and shoot those longer distance shots, which for maybe a follow-up shot, or if I do want to extend my effective range a little bit. The number one advantage I will tell guys, and why we sell more sliders than anything, is the ability to practice long distance. In the past, when I first got into the sport, I had a 5-pin sight and it got me to 60. And then I remember going to a 7-pin sight to get to 80. And the problem with some of those for me is the clutter. There's too many pins in the sight picture. Heat of the moment, sometimes even at the range, I would choose the wrong pin and make a bad shot. So with a 3-pin slider like this from HHA, it's a really clean sight picture. I know where my pins are set and still have the ability to slide. With this new series from HHA, the NYTRX series, they've done a lot of upgrades. So first and foremost this year, they have a true first axis, which is these 2 screws right here. So first axis is nice to have to be able to get the sight leveled a little bit better to the bow. But the main reason HHA did this is gives you the ability to swap out to different mounts or different bases. So let's say you come in, you want to buy a Matthews bow, you want to run their bridge lock technology. This dovetail is designed and will fit properly into a Matthews, but maybe you run that sight for a year or two and you buy a new bow. Maybe you want to get like a Hoyt with a pick mount or even a standard mounting system. What HHA gives you the ability to do is swap these bases out based off of what bow system you're mounting it to. 2 screws, really easy. It's really fast for us to re-level that. So great first axis adjustment from HHA. They also give you third axis, which is right here. What I like about their third axis, it is micro adjustable on a spring with a set screw, and I have 2 bolts to lock in my third axis. So if you're out hunting, you take a fall, slip and hit your sight on the ground, it's going to be really secure to keep that third axis locked and be able to pivot or move. And then they also give us a second axis adjustment right here. So when we take these sights, we mount them to your bow, we can get all 3 axis points leveled correctly to the bow, makes our jobs really easy. And the other thing they've done with their 3-pin is they've actually reduced the scope size. And I like that because now my pins are proportionate with inside the scope. A lot of other manufacturers that will offer a 3-pin, their scope size doesn't get any smaller. So what that does is I have a larger scope, but with less pins, my pins don't sit in the scope proportionately, and it kind of creates a weird sight picture for me. So kudos to HHA for recognizing this. Going to a smaller housing, the pins are more centered. Great bubble. I'm a big fan of big bubbles in sights. Small bubbles kind of bug me. I like to be able to see that bubble early morning, late evening. I like to focus my eyes on the target of where I'm aiming, but I like to be able to see my bubble with my peripheral. So the fact they have the bubble in the scope and a larger size makes that really easy for me. Adjustable rheostat. So some days you go out in the range, you want your pins as bright as possible early morning, late evening, but you get out on the range in the middle of the day practicing, your pins can become too bright. They get a thing we call starbursting, where you'll see kind of a white ring or a white glow around the pin, and it kind of affects your sight picture. What HHA has done to solve that problem for us, this is an adjustable ring. So if I have it backed out, I allow a lot more light to go to the fibers, makes it super bright. But if I'm at the range practicing or middle of the day, my pins are too bright, I can take this, twist it, and push it in, and it really dims down the pins to where middle of the day you won't notice it, but at night you'll definitely see it's a little bit darker. If I'm hunting, it's kind of late evening, I can just take this, back it back out. I'm going to get a lot more light gathering going back to my pins. I have a micro adjust for my windage. And then this rail here, as I'm sighting it in, it's really easy and convenient to adjust this. They also give you 3 separate indicators. So as my pins are set at 30, 40, 50, I can also adjust my top indicator to match my 30-yard pin, my middle indicator for my 40-yard pin, and my bottom indicator for my 50-yard pin. So as I slide, most of the time, I'm only focusing on my bottom pin. That's where my main focus is at. But if I have slid my sight to 70, where my bottom pin's at 70, now I have an exact point of reference of where my middle and my top pin are going to hit all at the same time. So the 3 indicators matching the 3 pins makes that kind of convenient. You know, if you get in a scenario of hunting, you range find an elk at 70, you draw, he comes in 10 yards closer. Now I know exactly where my middle pin's going to hit. And I know that distance. So it is kind of a convenience thing to have there. And what I really like about these sights, guys, is honestly, it's the price point. Really good quality USA made sight for under $400 makes it really tough to beat. And for guys that don't like a 3-pin, what is getting more popular for us is actually their double pin system. They have a Rise it's a Rise NYTRX 2 series. So it's a double pin. So for guys that still are shooting some faster bows, you notice your pin gaps are getting a little bit tighter. The double pin is getting really popular, and that's kind of what Mark's running here on his NYTRX. You can see he's got that nice custom spray paint job there. But the other advantage with these sights is the ability to run multiple scopes. So I love the scopes from HHA, whether it's their 3-pin or their double pin. But if you want to run a different scope, like Mark's got this new Shrewd Scope double pin system on here, or even an Ultra View, those have been pretty popular. You can buy just the frame only, where you don't have to purchase the scope. You can buy just a frame with an adapter and run whatever scope series you want on there. So very versatile that way. And so for a good quality sight for under $400, really check out these HHAs. We've been super happy with them. And then they do make one model above that that's called the NYTRX Pro. And the Pro series, me and a lot of the guys at the shop like to run that. The reason being is we're constantly tinkering with different arrow setups, different weights, speeds, that kind of thing. So with your standard NYTRX, this wheel is fixed. You cannot take it off. It still will rotate up and down, but you can't take on and off. If you buy the Pro Series, the Pro Series is going to run you about $100 to $110 more. But what that does is it gives you the ability to swap this ring out for your sight tape. So say I have a sight tape on here and I'm running, say, an arrow right now, I'm shooting 500 grains. I get it sighted in, my sight tape's accurate, clear to 100. But maybe I want to go to a different hunt or a different 3D shoot where I'm going to go to a much lighter, faster arrow. I can take my sight tape off, put a second wheel on, and recalibrate. And now I have 2 different sight tapes set up for 2 different arrow builds. So we really like that feature with the NYTRX Pro Series. For guys that shoot one arrow, they don't like to swap. They get one hunting setup. That's what they're going to shoot. I tell guys, save some money, buy the standard NYTRX. You're going to be super happy with it. If you guys have any questions, you want to come look at these sights, put them in your hand, see how they function and how smooth and fluid everything is. Come down to Wilde Arrow. We have a great selection in stock. We'll walk you through the different options and what will work best for you. So come on in today and we'll get you set up with a brand new sight.